So today the subject that has been specially chosen by our sisters here is anger management. And I was talking to Dipti Ben and Vedanti Ben that I think managing anger is very difficult for people. Why? Because they feel it is a natural outburst. It is a natural reaction that they all have. And so, how can they manage their anger? Very rightly, Dipti Ben said that why can't we be free from anger? And why do we have anger in the first place? Normally, it is always said, we hear people saying, I have only one weakness, and that is I get angry very easily. Anything triggers and it makes me angry. So it is a weakness. Now, is this weakness of the body or the soul? Anger is a weakness. Is it the weakness of a body or the soul? Soul, the spirit. It is not the weakness of the body, because if it was the weakness of the body, then we could have taken some vitamins, some minerals, some nutrients, and filled our weakness. Enhanced our internal immune system, and anger would have gone. But it is an emotional reaction. And emotions are connected with the soul. And that is why there is an outburst. So it is a weakness of the soul, the spirit, not the body. And when it is the weakness of the soul, that proves that our spiritual immunity has come down. Just as when the physical immunity comes down, then any change of weather affects the body. Similarly, when the spiritual immunity is less, small things can irritate me, small things can disturb me, small things can make me unhappy, and can easily trigger my anger. So I need to enhance my spiritual immunity. And how can we do that? How can we enhance our spiritual immunity? Just as the body needs three things. First is proper nourishment. Second is rest. And third is exercise. For enhancing the physical immunity, you need these three things. So similarly, for enhancing the spiritual immunity also, we need three things. First is proper nourishment for the mind. Nowadays, if we see, the environment is such that there is so much of negative nourishment that people get through maybe social media or maybe through so many sources, friends, school. Environment is such, and that is draining the energy constantly. So the nourishment is unhealthy, negative, which makes a person generate negative thoughts. Anything happens, And there are these 5 questions which erupt immediately in our mind. Why? What for? When? How? Where? And answering to all these questions, and if they do not please me, what happens? The anger comes out. The more we receive the information, the more it is making me absorb all that negativity, and it is triggering my anger. That weakness is being triggered. So first of all, we need proper nourishment. And the proper nourishment we get is through spiritual teachings. This is where the role of spirituality enters in the modern world. Because we have seen the heights of anger. What are the heights of anger? All terrorism, all nuclear weapons that are generated are because of what? And so people say anger is danger. Even nuclear weapons would be harmless if there is no anger. It is because of anger that the nuclear weapons are there. And somewhere I was reading the statistics which said that we have so many nuclear weapons on this world which can destroy this world 35 times. 35 times. And the person who is, it is all computerized controlled. So just imagine the person who is controlling those buttons. He's upset. And he has had a very bad beginning of the day. And he comes in an upset manner, and maybe he will feel, why should I kill myself instead of committing suicide? Press the button and get rid of the whole world. So, anger is danger. D plus anger. Therefore, anger is danger. So, proper nourishment. Nowadays, we see small kids. Everybody is on the mobile. Small kids also. And what type of programs or what type of things they would like to watch? Action movies, killing, and shooting and violence. And this is what they feed themselves, nourish themselves with. So naturally it is constantly draining their spiritual energy. And that is why this weakness is coming up. So people have said anger is conditioned response to life when they do not match our pictures, the inner imaginations or the inner pictures. When things do not go the way we want, we react with anger. So first, we need to switch over our nourishment from unhealthy to healthy. Good thoughts. And the source of all positive thoughts is spirituality. This is where the role of spirituality is. And that is why we find so many spiritual organizations coming up in the world. The second is meditation, rest, mental relaxation. We need to relax our minds. Small children, so hyper, so much hyper. They cannot sit in one place with a peaceful mind. So much that is in them. And that hyperness, we don't know where it is going to lead them to. So it is high time from a very young age, if we know how to train our young ones into mental relaxation. Meditation means consciously relaxing the mind. Consciously relaxing the mind. And the third is exercise for the mind. Whatever we nourish the mind with, those positive, pure thoughts, spiritual thoughts, I need to exercise them in my life. It is not just for here. It has to be practiced, exercised. If it is not exercised, then what is the use of that nourishment? We are taking in, but it is not coming into my system. And therefore, there are other things that are also sprouting out because of anger. And the main cause of anger in today's world is unfulfilled desires or expectations. Very high expectations. And when they are unfulfilled, what happens? It triggers the anger. And the most popular one in today's world is ego, self-centeredness. Ego is the root cause. Whenever the ego is not pampered, I would say, when anybody's ego is not, or if there is a feeling of being hurt, insecure feeling, then definitely that is going to erupt that anger. It reminds me of a beautiful story that once there was a king and somebody came up to him and he had two diamonds in his hands. And he asked the king, "Can you tell me which is the original diamond and which is a imitation diamond out of these two diamonds?" The king looked at both the diamonds. They were sparkling, nice, not able to find out which is the original one and which is the imitation one. So when the king was not able to do it, he asked his ministers, "Can any one of you find out which is the original one, which is the imitation one?" So the ministers also could not find out. Then it is said that the subjects were asked. Nobody was able to do it. And the person who had brought that diamond said, "The one who is able to identify it, I'll give that diamond free to that person." So many people came up to try to find out. Nobody was able to do it. A blind man comes and he says, "Give me some time and I'll tell you which is the real one, which is the imitation one." And people were astonished. How can a blind man who cannot see, how can he find out? So he said, "Please give me some time." He went out with both the diamonds in his hand, outside in the sun. And after some time, he came back and said, "This is the original diamond." And everybody was astonished. "How did you come to know this is the original one?" So he said, "Simple. Real diamonds are always cool. An imitation or the fake diamonds, which are of glass, they get heated up very easily when kept out in the sun. So similarly, in today's world, those who get heated up very easily, they are fake, fake diamonds, not the real ones. But the real ones always, although there is the hot sun, but still can remain cool in every situation. That is the worthiness of themselves. So we have to see ourselves whether we are that worthy or not. And the first parameter, as I said, ego. Ego, normally, even in small children, if their ego is hurt, they get so angry, they start breaking up things in the house. Haven't we seen that? We have always seen small children, when they get angry, it is very difficult to control them also. And then people say, his ego is hurt, that's why. So what is ego? If that is the root cause of anger, what is ego? Anybody can define ego? What is ego? No synonyms, the definition of ego. Can anybody? Attachment with your identity. Anything else? Anything else? I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. Always feeling superior. Superiority. Feeling of superiority in the self. Okay. Okay. I'm always right. I'm always right. I'm the best. Yes. Before we go on to the definition, there is one thing that I would like you to understand, and that is, there is one thing that is constantly going on in us, and that is thinking, thoughts. There is no moment when we don't have any thoughts. Every moment we are generating thoughts. And it is always said, as you think, so are your feelings. So thoughts control our feelings. And then as is your feelings, feelings control our attitude. And as is the attitude, so will be the behavior. As is your attitude, so will be the behavior, actions. And as is your actions, so will be your personality. And as is your personality, so will be your destiny. Therefore, it is said, destiny is in your hands. Religious people told us, as is your karma, actions, so is your destiny. जैसा कर्म करेंगे वैसा भाग्य मिलेगा. So karma or actions, they decide your destiny. Psychology taught us, as is your thoughts, so is your actions, so is your destiny. So in short, we can say the quality of our thoughts determine the quality of our destiny. Right? But spirituality goes one step still further. And that is, what is it that constantly makes us think? What makes us think? Where do thoughts come from? Yes? Information? Anything else? Environment? If you can see this, nothing is from outside. Everything is within me. Right? From thinking to feelings to attitude to behavior to personality, everything is within me. So, I cannot put the blame onto somebody outside. The cause is within me. So, what makes me think? Which is that mechanism that makes me think? Yes? Huh? Result? Your soul. Okay. That is a very big term. We want specified. Mind. Thinking is mind. Mind is thinking. What triggers the mind to generate thoughts? Positive, negative? Everybody is not negative thinking, doing negative thinking in today's world. There are some who are good positive thinkers also. So what makes me think positive or negative? Upbringing, situation, nothing outside, something from within me. What happened to you in the past? Okay, let me come to the point. It's my perception. How I see things. Everything has two sides, a positive and a negative. Whichever my perception is, if my perception is negative, my thoughts are also going to be negative. But if my perception is positive, I see the good side, my thoughts are also going to be positive. So everything depends upon my perception, how I'm perceiving. Right? Okay, how is that perception formed? How is that perception created? Positive or negative? On the basis of my past experiences. Maybe for one person, somebody has a very positive feelings, positive thoughts, and another person would just come up to you and say, he's not a person to be relied on because he has some experience. So it is on the basis of our own experiences that perception is created. And so the thoughts are generated accordingly. Now, how did I get that experience? Let us go to the roots. How did I get that experience? There was definitely some interaction, something that came in the interaction which gave me that experience. So what came in that interaction? Education? No. Something within. Which mechanism? Again, education is outside. Look, we are so much habituated to put everything on outside, to put the blame on outside, when I do not understand my inner mechanism. So what gave me that experience, positive or negative? What came in between? It is either values or weaknesses. Supposing somebody got angry with me. Now anger is the weakness. So when weakness was involved in the interaction, it gives me a negative experience. Right? But if some values come in between that interaction, it will give me a positive experience. So it is either values or weaknesses that come in the way. That's why if anger is a weakness, and if that is playing the role, just imagine what is going to be my destiny. And then I try to put the blame onto somebody else. This person is responsible. This person, this event is responsible. No, my inner mechanism. I don't understand my mechanism. This is my mechanism. Okay, now what brought out that values or weakness? What brings out? Supposing there is one person, very sweet. My behavior naturally with that person will be on the basis of values. That person is sweet, I am also sweet. And I get a good experience. But when the person behaves as somebody, I am the best, that weakness comes in. Very subtly it is playing a role, and hardly we realize it. And anger is generated. When anger is generated, the other person thinks, I didn't even say a word. And he got so angry. He's not a nice person. Experience. He's not a nice person. So what? Supposing your boss is there. Wherever you're working and the boss is there. And your boss is saying something wrong. But still, you won't get angry on him. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Okay. But if your junior was there and he said the same words, what would happen? So what brings out the values in front of the boss and what brings out the weaknesses in front of a junior? Yes? Anybody? Anybody? Huh? Okay, the ego. What is that? Huh? Belief. I believe he's my junior. I believe that he's my senior. That belief that he's my senior, so values would naturally come up. Okay, sir. Politeness, sweetness, humble. But when I believe he's my junior, what would come out? Anger. Weakness would come out. So, religion taught us, as is your action, so is your destiny. Psychology said, as is your thoughts, so is your action, so is your destiny. So, thoughts determine destiny. Spiritual science says, belief is the root cause of bringing out all the negative or positive emotions in our practical life. So in short, we can say what you believe comes true for you. Belief decides your destiny. When a person believes, I can't do it, I can't do it, now it's impossible, what will be his destiny? And when a person said, I can do it, nothing is impossible, what will be his destiny? So spiritual science says, as is your belief, so will be your destiny. What you believe comes true for you. So this is religion at the superficial level. This is psychology at a mental level, and the spiritual level at the root cause. Now when a person is too much attached to his belief and thinks, what I believe is correct, this attachment to a wrong belief would be the ego. Any attachment to a wrong belief, I am the best, I am better than everyone, I know everything. Now, this is an attachment to a wrong belief. So, when there is an attachment to a wrong belief, that starts creating ego. And when there is an attachment to a wrong belief, then there is an illusion that is created. And I start living in that illusion. I start living in that illusion. Whether others consider me or not, but I am in that illusion. I am the best. Nobody understands me. People don't know who I am, what I am. So that is the illusion. And whenever this illusion breaks, what happens? Maybe it's too late for the person. So wherever there is an attachment to a wrong belief and we start living in that illusion, we resist the best ideas of others also. We resist. Sorry, I know everything. Don't advise me. Nowadays children, after they get 15, 16, we try to advise them. What do they say? We know everything. We know. You don't need to tell us. I know better than you. The father would say, no, I'm trying to guide you on the basis of my experiences. But those experiences are of those times, not of these times. I know better than you. So we resist the best ideas of all the good wishes also, maybe, who are trying to guide us. Why? Because we have a very deep attachment to a wrong belief and I do not realize it. So there is a fear that is created. Fear. Fear of being criticized. Supposing I'm living in this illusion and I've resisted the best ideas of somebody. Now there is a fear, what if he challenges me? So fear of being challenged. What if this person criticizes me? Fear of being criticized. Fear of failure. There are so many fears that are created. And this fear is not with me. The fear is with the ego. Fear of being hurt. Who is going to be hurt? The ego is going to be hurt. So wherever this fear is, in order to protect my ego, every time there is anger. There is this outburst. Every time. Wherever I feel insecure, this person is trying to criticize me or is trying to hurt my ego, then there is a natural outburst, and that is anger. So, fear is equal to ego. How do I know whether I have ego or not? The fear. Fear is the messenger. And wherever this fear is, that's why people say, let go. Don't say anything. Let go. Let him be in that state of mind. Let go. Why do we say let go? What do we have to let go? Let ego go. Let go. Let the fear go. If I cannot let go my fear, means I'm so much attached to that ego. And ego means an attachment to a wrong belief. Right? So what is ego? Ego is an attachment to a wrong belief that I have created about myself, the illusion that I am staying in, and therefore I resist the best ideas of others because I think I know everything. And so every time there is a fear behind, at the subconscious level of being challenged, being criticized, and whenever this is there, I cannot let go of it. I hold on to it. See? I hold on to it. That is ego. So the definition of ego is, which becomes the main cause of anger, is the attachment to a wrong image of myself or belief about myself that I've created about myself. And therefore, fear is the messenger. Fear is the messenger that comes to tell me that I am holding on to something, and therefore I have to let go of that something. I have to let go of that something. If I do not let go of it and I keep on holding to that, it's going to generate so much negative emotions within me. And when this gets accumulated, it is going to be outburst as anger. Right? So practical. And this is what, and people are not able to realize they're holding on to something. They feel, no, I'm not holding on to anything. But whenever there is this insecurity, insecure feelings generated, it is because of ego that I'm trying to protect. I'm trying to protect. When somebody tries to tell me, oh, it should not be like this, it should be, I know. And then, although the person would try to give the best advice, but it is resisted always. Why are there relationship problems today in the world? If we see any relationship problem in the court, divorce cases, father and son, brother and brother, husband and wife, and we ask them, what was the cause? A little bit misunderstanding, ego problem. Ego problem. And this is where they land up into a divorce. And as it is said, every third marriage ends in a divorce in the world. Why? Because of anger. Small irritation accumulating. Ego problems. So we need to have the courage. And what is courage? Courage is the ability to let go of the belief that the fear is real. Fear is just out of illusion. It is because of the illusion that the fear is there. The moment I let go of, I have the courage to let go of, means I'm free from fear. Isn't it? Because fear is not real. It is illusion. Right? Because if we don't let go of, if we don't have this courage, then what will happen? What will happen? E plus motion. Emotion. E plus motion. E in science is energy in motion. The disturbance of the energy of my consciousness when the object of attachment with which I have identified myself is threatened or moved. When somebody threatens it, when somebody is trying to break that attachment, then this energy is disturbed. And when this energy gets disturbed, It is disturbed in the self. That is why when people get so disturbed, heart attacks, emotional attacks. Why? Because the energy in motion is disturbed. The spiritual energy in motion is disturbed, shattered. And that is why heart attacks. Or when a person gets nervous, depressed, as if he is being exposed in front of everybody, so then he commits suicide. The anger is for the self, or either the anger is for others. And that energy which is disturbed is harming the self. It is harming the self. So egoistic personalities, they get maximum heart attacks. In today's world, when a person loves his position, that is ego, causing ego, the cause of ego. So in order to overcome anger, we have to be lovers of peace. When we love peace, when we allow peace, then this spiritual energy which is disturbed starts getting healed. So meditation. Why are there so many schools of meditation today in the world? What are they trying to do? Meditation, this word comes from a Latin word, medere, means to heal thyself from within. Healing the spiritual energy that has got disturbed. And it can only be healed through meditation. Nothing else is going to heal that. And every time the attack is there, and when it is not taken up, then finally the person crashes, collapses. Either he is trying to pressurize so much, he gets stroke, paralytical strokes. Wherever this energy in motion is disturbed, whichever part is weak, that is going to be affected naturally. If the heart is weak, has heart attacks. The brain is weak, paralytical attacks. The kidney is weak, kidney is attacked. Liver is weak, liver is attacked. So that is why it is said how much that a person wants to get angry but suppresses anger constantly, or outburst somewhere here and there. How long can it take? How long can it go on that way? Impossible. So this is how we become a slave to the emotion. How? What is the pathway? The pathway is 5 A's. 5 A's. The 5 A's are: first, attention. How does a person build up the ego? First, attention. First A. Second, attraction. Then third A is attachment. How does the attachment to a wrong belief? First, attention. Second, then they are attracted to their own belief or image which they've created about themselves. Then the third stage is attachment. The fourth stage is addiction. Person gets addicted to that belief, to that wrong belief that he has created about himself. And that is when he has to pay the price. After addiction, he has to pay the price for it. Atonement. So 5 A's that makes a person slave to the emotion, negative emotion. Anger, ego, etc. How does this come up? Let me share a story. There is a young boy who's studying, and he's studying in an architect's university. He's trying to be an architect, supposing he wants to be an architect in the future. So he's studying, and finally he becomes an architect. Pass all his exams with very good marks, distinction, very high marks. He comes back from his school to the home, and now is looking for a job. He has very good creative ideas, and he's at home, and he's still not able to decide whether he has to begin his work with some firm of architects and go there and get some experience, or whether he wants to start up his own something. One day, an uncle comes to their home. So seeing this young boy, the uncle asks the father, "So this is your son?" "Yes, he's my son." "So what has he done?" "Oh, he's become an architect now." So the uncle says, "So good man, young man, what do you want to do? What are your future plans? To get connected with some firm of architects? Or you want to begin something on your own?" So this young man says, "Not decided yet." He has no ego. Because till a person has no ego, very good creative ideas flow. So he says, "No idea yet what I will do, but still looking for something." So then the uncle says, "If you are interested, I have a piece of land which I want to develop. Can you give me some good drawings, what I should make use of that land? And it is a little bit outside the city, but I would like to develop it in such a way that that area gets fully developed. People go onto that side of the city, and the business would start to flourish. If there are offices or maybe a big mall or something, can you give me some designs?" So this young man, fresh, with very good creative ideas, starts making some beautiful drawings. And the elevation of the building also is such beautifully designed. And after some time, he goes up to the uncle and says, "These are some of the designs that I've made." So the uncle is very happy to see each and every design, very creative, so beautiful. "You have such good ideas." He appreciates him. And the more he appreciates him, this boy gets the attention. "Really? Am I so beautiful? Am I so good at my work? Do I have such good ideas?" Means he thought it was normal, but here he is being appreciated so much that his attention goes. I am something. Still the ego has not come, but the attention goes. Then one of the designs is selected, and the building is given, the designs are given to the contractor, and he starts with the building. And as the building is coming up, and people come to know about it, seeing the elevation, they all ask this man, "Who's your architect? Who's your architect? What beautiful design he has made." So this uncle says, "I will introduce you to him. Wait for some time." He's trying to create the suspense. Then one day, he keeps the inauguration of that building. And when the inauguration takes place, He says, today I will introduce you to my young architect who has such beautiful ideas, such creative ideas. So during that program, he calls up this young man. And now, after the program, everybody is congratulating him, complimenting him. And as they start congratulating him, complimenting him, he feels, really? So the attention is getting deeply engraved, and the attraction to the self. I am something. I'm something. I have very good ideas. So the attraction to the belief about the self is there. Now, after that building is over, seeing that, during that inauguration program only, afterwards some people take his phone numbers and contact numbers and everything, and then somebody else contacts him. Look, we also have a beautiful piece of land which we would like to develop. Do you think you can give us some designs? So he gives them also some beautiful designs. There also people start appreciating, congratulating, and he gets so much of attention. So the attention was there, attraction was also there. Now he feels, I think I am the best. So the attachment to his own belief, I am the best in this city. There is no other architect like me. You see how the attachment begins? With a wrong belief that there is no one who is of my level. I have the most creative ideas. So then somebody else comes up to him and says, look, we have a piece of land. We would like to build this, but our budget is low. Our budget is very low. Well, in the first two buildings, there was a lot of wastage of space that we saw. It was very beautiful, but there was a lot of wastage of space as well. But we have a low budget and we would like to use every corner of the space. No wastage. So he feels they want me to make such an ordinary building using each and every bit of the space. So the elevation would not be as it should be. But how can he say no? So he says, there are technically some reasons why we have to keep this spacious, so that there is air crossing here and there, and he tries to give that person. But the person says, look, we have low budget. We cannot afford to waste our space. We have to use each and every inch of the space. So then he says, well, I am so busy at the present time. I'll see afterwards, after some time, this, that. He tries to make some excuse to get out of that simple building. He doesn't want to go into the simple building now. So he tries to make some excuse, and he raises his maybe fee or something. So these people said, okay, if it is impossible for you, we'll find someone else. The moment they say this, the fear is there. What if somebody challenged what I have said? And if they make this building in a low budget, people, what would they say? They will criticize me. So the fear has started. Why? Because there is attachment. So the fear have started. But now, because after doing 2-3 buildings and getting a lot of praise and he is like flying in the air. He feels I am the best. How can I bring myself low for simple buildings like this? I won't go for that. And there is addiction that is created. I cannot compromise. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. I cannot do. Now the creativity has stopped. And then atonement. When he's addicted, definitely People are going to criticize him. People won't give him business, so he is going to get into a loss. And this is how he has to pay the price for it. Why? Because he has become a slave to his own emotion. And then there is anger generated, but he can't do anything. When he has to pay the price for it, there is a lot of anger generated. What to do? He's already become a slave. So now, how to manage and heal that emotion? Again, 5 ways. Another 5 ways. And the first is awareness. Awareness has to be created. When there is awareness, then acknowledge that awareness. Second day. Third day is then acceptance. Accepting where we went wrong. Where was that wrong belief that I got attached to? Accepting, acknowledging and accepting. And then rise, ascend. Get out of it, ascend. And the moment the person starts ascending, he is able to attune himself with this higher energy and is able to receive that power from the higher energy. So awareness has to be there. Awareness means, it reminds me of a beautiful story again. Once there was a Guruji, a very holy person, and he had a beautiful ashram of his own. And he and his disciple used to stay there. One day the Guruji had a thought, I would like to go for more higher meditation experiences. So I would like to go to the Himalayas. And at this time, this season, not many people come also to the ashram. So it is better for me to go for about 6 months and do penance, get into that higher realization stages. So he calls for his disciple and says, I would like to go for 6 months for meditation, higher meditation. Would you be able to look after this ashram in my absence? So the disciple says, why not? Definitely I would look after the ashram. So the Guruji says, okay, day after I will leave for my journey and come back after 6 months. Till then you look after this ashram. But if you have to ask me anything regarding any function of the ashram or administration of the ashram or anything, tomorrow I am here. I'll leave day after. So you can ask me. But remember, tomorrow is Thursday. It's my day of silence. But still, if you would ask me anything, I would write it down and give you the answer. So both go to sleep that night. The next day morning, the disciple feels, let me ask Guruji, in his absence, what is it that I have to take care of most? So he goes up to the Guruji and asks him, can you tell me on the basis of your experience, what is it that I have to take care of most? Right? What do I have to pay attention to most? So it was the Guruji's silence day. So he takes up a piece of paper and a pen and writes a word on it. And the word is awareness. Gives it to the disciple. The disciple looks at that word, awareness. That's all. So Guruji is trying to tell me that I have to constantly be aware in his absence. I think that's easy. I will be aware. So he goes out of the room, but the more he looks at that piece of paper, the more he is getting confused. Actually, he didn't elaborate anything. He didn't elaborate this word. What is it that he tries to tell me? So then after some hours, he goes back to Guruji again and says, Guruji, can you elaborate this? Write something before and after? So again, Guruji takes that piece of paper, writes one word ahead and one word after. The word before is also awareness. The word after is also awareness. Awareness, awareness, awareness. Gives it to the disciple. The disciple is, and he sees that, so I think Guruji is trying to tell me that I have to be constantly aware. I think that's simple. I can do that. Again he goes out, but the moment he goes on looking at that piece of paper, awareness, awareness, awareness. What does he try to tell me? In the elaboration also he wrote these two words only. So, after some hours he again goes back to Guruji and says, Guruji, awareness, awareness, awareness is equal to what? Can you explain? So Guruji again takes the same piece of paper and awareness, awareness, awareness is equal to awareness. Guruji's message was very simple, but very difficult for the disciple to understand. Guruji was trying to tell him that when you are on a position of responsibility, on a responsible position, you have to be aware of the quality of your thoughts. You have to be aware of the quality of your feelings that you hold for anyone who comes to the ashram. You have to be aware of the quality of your actions because everybody is watching you. You have to be aware of the quality of attitude you hold towards everyone. You have to be aware of the quality of your complete character. That was the message. But he was not able to understand. And this is why people who are egoistic get into an outburst of anger, because they do not have this awareness. They are not aware that people are watching them, that people are seeing their behavior and judging them, that people are trying to evaluate their personality. They are not aware. So in order to manage and heal that emotion, I need to develop that awareness. And this is what spirituality tells us. Creating that awareness of who am I. Constantly being aware of what my true nature is, what my true identity is. Creating that awareness to heal that emotion. In meditation, we stabilize ourselves in that awareness. That's when the healing starts. Until then, there is no healing. Meditation means mediri, to heal thyself. What do I have to heal? I have to heal myself from that hurt, that emotional outburst that was happening. And for that, I need to spiritually create that awareness within me. Who am I? I'm not this physical being, but I am a spiritual being. My real identity is spiritual. Then acknowledging that, yes, I am that. And accepting the self as I am, with the weaknesses and the good things. Each and every human being has good and bad in them. So accepting the self with good and bad, as I am. After acceptance, then we start ascending. In meditation also we ascend to a higher self, to my real self, to my real identity, becoming soul conscious. And when I ascend, then only we are able to attune the self with the supreme energy. The more we are ego conscious, egoistic, body conscious, we are not able to attune ourselves. So that is why the process is that from body consciousness to soul consciousness, and creating that awareness of the real identity, stabilizing yourself in that identity and ascending, and then the attuning is there with the higher energy. And that's when we start receiving that power. And then to master the feelings. To master the feelings, another 5 D's. The first is disidentify the self with the illusionary image that I was identifying myself with. That which I was deeply attached to. So disidentify. Supposing this is a very nice chair, I'm comfortable. But if I am asked to go to that door and I cannot let go of this chair and I move with this chair, how would I look like? People will laugh at me. But if I detach myself, I disidentify that I am not this chair. So the moment I disidentify, I am able to detach. I get up, detach from it. And if I want that chair over there, I can take it with me. But that would not look funny. But if I'm moving with the chair, I cannot detach myself. I'm so attached to this chair, and moving with the chair, I become a piece of laughter for everyone. This is what is happening. Why people are laughing at those egoistic personalities, saying, just look at his ego. People are laughing at him, not on his face, behind him. Why? Because he is not able to disidentify and detach himself from that wrong belief that he has created about himself. So when these two are not there, then he is not able to discriminate between the right and the wrong. What is right, what is wrong? Because he is living in that illusion. So when he is not able to discriminate between the right and the wrong, then definitely wrong decisions are taken. Cannot take right decisions. And when the right decisions are not there, then there is no determination. He cannot change. He cannot change. He understands there is something that I need to change. But he cannot change. Why? Because he's a slave. And when he is able to master this feeling, then the determination is there, and the determination leads to success. He brings out the complete new, changes himself, a great transformational change in his personality. Till then, it is just a superficial change, not a deep change that takes place. Right? So, in order to become free from anger, you need to master the feelings. Realization. When the awareness is there, then the disidentification. What is right? What is wrong? What is my real identity? What is my false identity? And then disidentifying the self from that false identity. Because till then, till the false identity is there, the ego is going to erupt anger each and every moment. Each and every small things are going to trigger the anger in him. So this is how we need to master our feelings. So the pathway to becoming a slave, then how to heal the self, the process, and then to master the feelings. Once we start mastering, then we find it is easy to let go. Let ego go. Right? So you must have read about the 7 habits of highly effective people. Today we'll see the 7 habits of highly enlightened people. The first habit is be quiet. In order to create that awareness, the awareness has to be created. For that we need to go into silence. For some moments also, be quiet. In order to erase your self-awareness, we have to be quiet. Not external quietness of the environment, silencing the thoughts, quieting the mind. Because otherwise the thoughts are rushing inside. And the more negative thoughts are creating all the disturbances inside. So the first habit that we need to create is be quiet. Calm down the thoughts. Calm down your mind. Second, then let go. As soon as the awareness is created, then we let go of the false belief that I was identifying myself with. When the mind is silent, we know what do we have to let go of. Then the third habit is let be. After let going, what do I have to be? We are all human beings. So what do I have to be? We need to be and let be. Then we can experience the real freedom. Until I'm holding on to it, I'm not able to let go, I am caged. I am trapped. I can't be free. I can't be independent. I'm under the clutches of my own attachment to a wrong belief. So no true freedom is experienced in life. And then listen in. After being, then listen in. What does your intuition tell you? Listen to the deep core of your intuition. It is trying to tell you something. Listen to that. Till the ego speaks, we don't listen to the intuition. We're listening to the ego only. So in order to be, first we have to quiet, let go, and be, and then listen to that core of your intuition, which is giving you the right answer to various questions that are unanswered. So listen in. The fourth habit. Fifth habit is then wake up after listening. You need to wake up. We are not doing what we are supposed to do. So let us try to do what we have to do. After listening to that intuition, which will come our way again and again, but we are trying to ignore it. We are trying to suppress that voice because we are trying to listening to our ego. And because we are listening to that, the intuition is suppressed. So we can't wake up. And we are not doing what we are supposed to do. Then know your potential. Know yourself. You have immense potential in you. So know your potential. Just be aware of that. Nobody can ever fail you in any way. You have such immense potential in you. And then pass on. Anything that has come in life has to be passed on. There are various scenes that come in life. We have to pass on, move forward. We can't get stuck there because of the ego, because of the false attachment to a wrong belief, which I'm identifying myself with. Because otherwise I'm trapped. I cannot move forward. Anything that has come in life, it gives us a very important learning lesson, experience, and it has to be passed on. Move ahead. Go ahead. No. God wants something from you to be done. Very important task. But if I don't let go, I can never move on. I can never move on. And by the time I realize, it may become too late. It may become too late. Right? Okay? So this is how we can become free from anger by developing these 7 habits and mastering our feelings, coming out of that path of slave to the emotions. Otherwise, we are just going to meet with emotional attacks. That's it. Right? Okay? Om Shanti. Any questions before we end? Any questions? Yes?
You always don't suppress your feelings.
Yes.
What does it mean? Because if you are angry, express it, it makes it worse for you.
Yes. Don't suppress your feelings, not emotions. There is a difference between emotions and feelings. Feelings are positive, emotions are negative. So anger is a negative emotion. If you go on releasing it, what will happen? You know, the Japanese people, they did an experiment with this. And their experiment was that they made a small room at the bottom of their company or the corporate office. Everybody was very highly stressed. And they had lot of anger in themselves, which they want to release, but they did not know how to release. So when they would go home, they would release on their family members. And there were a lot of breakups in the people. So after a survey that was being done, they said to people, don't take this stress home, you leave it here. Now how can we leave it here? So they made a room at the bottom in the basement, and they put an effigy of a person and say, supposing you are angry on your boss and you cannot bring out those emotions, don't suppress them. Go below in that room, and that effigy that is there, think it is your boss and bring out release all your emotions. You can hit that as if you are hitting your own boss, and you can say out bad words to him, whatever you want to. And initially, they found that once in 15 days, people would go into that room to release their stress on their maybe boss or colleague or something, because they could not fight. Japanese culture is not that they fight in the offices or do, but they go in that room, they release their stress on their colleague or boss or whoever it is. So once in 15 days, they would go there. But then it was seen, as it is said, anything you go on doing, it creates a habit. So then the habit started forming. So when the habit was created, once in 10 days people started going. Then once in a week people started going. The number also, there was a queue outside that room. Then once in every 3 days people started going, and then every day. What was happening? The habit was become. So when the Japanese saw this is something that is not working. Because this outburst of the emotion, which they were thinking it will leave here, but no, this is increasing in them. So then they made a meditation room, the Zen meditation room, below in the basement. They removed that effigy and everything. And then they told their people, whenever you have any negative emotions generated, then you go down in that room, relax your mind, meditation, be at peace, generate peaceful vibrations, and calm down your mind. Relax yourself and then come up and do your work. It was seen that initially people were going every day to that room for relaxation. That was the stress they were going through. Then gradually, as they started relaxing, that habit was created. And then once in 15 days, once in a month, people started going and they were relaxed. So, whenever you bring out the outburst of your negative emotions, that is going to harm you only, not anyone else. And when the habit is going to create, you will either bring it out on your family members, on your children, on your colleagues maybe, on your own self, wherever. So, in order to, don't suppress, but at the same time use the opposite method. This is what the Japanese taught. If you are anger, go for relaxation, peace. This is how we need to bring a transfer. We have to master our feelings. Not suppress, don't suppress your emotions, but master your feelings with positivity. Right? Any other questions? Nobody? So then can we have some meditation? I've heard something very beautiful. So for a few moments, we shall sit in silence and see within your own self, your complete inner mechanism, from thoughts, perceptions, experiences, your values or weaknesses, and what is there in your belief system. Because your belief is going to create your destiny. So, as I see myself, visualize whether there is any attachment to any wrong belief that we have created about ourselves. Whether there is an illusion that I'm living in. And as I realize, I have to let go. Is there any fear that is within my subconscious level, which is making me react, create an outburst of negative emotions, fear of being challenged, fear of any criticism, fear of being hurt, because that is the ego. And I have to let go of that ego. Spiritually, I create that self-awareness within me and realize I'm not this position. I'm not this physical costume. I am a spiritual entity. I am a divine being. As I erase this consciousness, and stabilize my mind in this consciousness of being a divine being, I let go of all those things that I was holding on to. And now I can experience the real freedom of being myself. My mind is completely light. My thoughts are calming down. I feel released from all the negative emotions. Such a beautiful feeling I experience. After letting go, let be. Let me be my true identity. And then I wake up. I listen to my intuition, that deep core of my intuition, which I had suppressed. I listen to that core. As I become the embodiment of my true identity, I'm released of all the stresses and I empower myself from within. I have to pass on all the different phases that I was holding on to. I release them and become free, liberated. Experience the lightness within. What a beautiful experience this is. Being soul conscious. Om Shanti. Shanti.